What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in to this video. This is going to be my top 4 baits for March bass fishing. You know, March is it's a cool month. You know, everything starts kind of moving towards the spawn. Everything starts warming up. You know, the birds are chirping every morning. The water's warming up. The days are getting longer. The bass are moving shallow. So everything is good in the month of March. And the bass fishing should be pretty good all over the country, to be totally honest. You know, the ice should be melting. To all of my northern viewers and everyone in the south, you know, the bass are biting. So I come up with 4 baits that I feel like will help you guys catch some more bass in the month of March. But before we dive into those, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in again. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. You know, we're pumping out 3 videos a week right now on all of its great content. And the goal of the entire channel is to do this right here and help you guys just catch more bass. So, you know, link in the description down below if you want to help the channel and pick up a hat. Otherwise, do me a favor, hit the subscribe, and appreciate all you guys leaving comments and watching every video. You know, it really helps us grow the channel, so I appreciate all you guys. But if you guys are ready, let's jump in and talk about a few baits for the month of March. All right, so if you guys know me, you know I love throwing a jerkbait, and the month of March is a perfect time to throw it. So right here we got my box of a little bit shallower diving Bill Lewis scope sticks. So you got the 100 size right here. So this is a little bit smaller, you know, depending on the fishery you're on. You know, your forage may be different. You may like the bigger size or the smaller size, but this is the 100 size here. And then this guy here is the 120. So you can see the size difference there. This is a much bigger bait. So if you're around bigger fish, bigger forage, bigger shad, you go with the 120 size. Otherwise, you go with the 100 size. But those 2 baits right there, man, it's hard to beat a jerkbait, you know, all year long. But March is a great time when those fish are immediately pre-spawn. They're feeding up heavily on shad. So they're looking for a quick, easy meal. And, you know, a jerkbait is imitating a dying shad, or could even be imitating a perch. If you guys are up north, beautiful perch color right there. So, you know, it all depends on where you're at in the country and what the forage are as far as size and color. But the Bill Lewis scope stick jerkbait, it's a must-have in your box, especially for the month of March. You know, you can't go wrong. You could literally tie on any of these baits right here and go to the lake and catch a bass on one of these. So the scope stick, that's number 1. You gotta be throwing a jerkbait. And you know, the scope stick was designed to show up better on forward-facing sonar. So if you guys have the live scope, the active target, whatever, this bait is going to show up better because of the pronounced flat sides, and you're going to be able to see it better, see it easier, and see those fish when they're following it and know how to change your retrieve. So scope stick is a must-have. All right, we're going to stick with some power fishing here for a minute and go with a good old-fashioned spinnerbait. So this is the Epic Baits tournament grade spinnerbait right here. You know, March is a great time when the fish move up shallow that you can just pick up a bait like this and just cover water. You know, fish down the bank and fish everything in front of you. Grass, laydowns, docks, doesn't matter. Just pick this bait up and just go fishing down the bank and you're gonna get some bites. So, you know, this has a good keeper on there, so I like to add a trailer. This is the Yamamoto paddle Zako. So it really bulks up the profile and, you know, gives a big target for those big fish that you're looking for. So, you know, this spinnerbait right here will catch the biggest fish in the lake, and those big pre-spawn females that are up there staging, getting ready to spawn, they cannot pass up a big spinnerbait just like that. So hard to go wrong with a spinnerbait. Like I said, it's so easy to fish. You literally just cast and wind at every target you see. So, you know, the closer you can get to those targets, the better, because the bass may be sitting right next to that tree. So the closer you can bring your bait to him, he's just going to snap and react and eat that. But the spinnerbait, got to be throwing it in the month of March. It will put some giant fish in your boat for sure. And all sizes of fish. You know, every bass in the lake will eat a spinnerbait, but it really does a great job at catching some of those real giant fish in there. So spinnerbait, you gotta have it. Next up, this is gonna be for, again, your more shallow fishing, but this is for a little bit heavier cover. You know, if you get into that heavier grass, lily pads, you know, maybe some reeds or something where you can't quite throw the spinnerbait, that's when you pick up this guy right here, and that's the swim jig. So this is the MBeckerFishing swim jig right here. It's got a really cool wire weed guard. You know, this is the best swim jig I've found for lily pads. You know, typically I've had trouble with the bait wanting to get hung up, and you know, the weed guard's basically too soft to pull a bait through lily pads, but these wire weed guards right here really help it deflect it around the lily pads. You don't get hung up as much. It's not as aggravating to fish. This is a pretty sexy color here. This one is called Chartreuse Shiner. It's a new color that just come out, but it's an excellent springtime color. You know, this color could imitate a shad, a bluegill, a shiner. I mean, it can imitate so many different things. So I like putting those high percentage colors on my rod. You know, I want those things that can mimic or imitate so many different forages with one bait. And that's exactly what you do here. So you could literally just change up your trailer on the back. So for me, I want to imitate a shad, so I'm going to go with the 3-inch Yamacraw in sight flash color right here. So that would be a very white looking profile. But, you know, put a green pumpkin trailer on here and it looks a lot more like a bluegill than it does a shad. So like I said, you can just tweak the trailer on the back of here and it really changes up the entire profile or the entire color contrast of the bait. But swim jig, again, it's a lot like the spinnerbait. You just tie this on, throw it at every piece of cover in front of you, cast and wind, shake it, whatever you want to do. You can't fish it wrong. It's going to help you catch some fish. So last up, this is going to be for once you locate some fish and you want to slow down, go with the old Shaky Head. So this is the brand new MBeckerFishing Shaky Head right here. I got one already out right here that I was just using. So this is a new Shaky Head. I did a whole video on this if you guys want to check that out, and if you're curious why the hook is bent the way it is, that is all explained in the previous video about this bait. But it's an excellent bait to slow down and fish that, you know, a little bit more methodical. If you find some boat docks that have some fish, or even just some, you know, gravelly points, secondary points where some fish are staging or something, a Shaky Head is excellent in the month of March. You know, it's always going to catch fish all year long, but for some reason those fish really like feeding down on worms right before the spawn. So a Shaky Head, excellent choice. You know, I have this is one of my favorite worms for a Shaky Head. It's the Yamamoto Pro Cinco, which it's a little bit thinner worm, but it comes to a point down at the end. And that's what I really like, is whenever that bait's up there, that tail really dances. It has a lot of action for a Shaky Head worm, and helps you trigger a few more bites. So Shaky Head, you gotta be throwing it in the month of March. But like I said, the month of March is a great time to be out fishing. So hopefully all you guys watching are gonna be able to get out the month of March, catch you a few bass, and hopefully the tips I just gave here will help you guys catch a few more fish this month of March. If you guys need any tackle, do me a favor, head on over to Fish USA. They got everything you could need for bass fishing. They got it all in stock, ready to ship real fast. There'll be direct links in the description down below if you want any of this stuff. But till then, appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.